In 1975, a great white shark changed cinema forever. Directed by Steven Spielberg and based on Peter Benchley's novel, Jaws became the first true summer blockbuster and left generations thinking twice before stepping into the ocean.
50 years later, and we're back where it all began, Martha's Vineyard. The beaches are the same, but has the fear or fascination faded? Let's hear what the people of this iconic island have to say, half a century after Jaws made waves around the world. 50 years later, what do you think makes Jaws such a timeless classic, and what stands out to you the most when you rewatch it today?
So I think the big thing about Jaws, the movie, is it first comes from a book. So you already got a good story. You already know this is going to be a good story. And then you take the creative genius, Steven Spielberg, and you mix it together and you just got absolute gold. He had that same success with Jurassic Park. It was already a good book, became a great movie. So when you watch back you can really appreciate like the fine details he puts into it. And I think that's why it stands as a timeless classic.
How has Jaws influenced the way you view the ocean or suspense films since the first time you watched it?
So I think, it always makes you think when you're in the ocean. You never know what's out there. It's kind of just such an untapped exploration. And, obviously you don't get in the water thinking there's a great white shark, but it's just very like, it's out there. So it's pretty cool every time you get in. There's always that suspense.
Right.
As far as overall suspense movies, watching as a younger viewer, I felt like it was maybe a little bit boring because I did not understand the whole anticipation, about the suspense of the anticipation of seeing the sharks. So then as you get older, you can really appreciate it. So that's how I view, suspense movies like that.
Awesome. Hello. How has Jaws influenced the way you view the ocean and suspense films since you first watched it?
So when I was little and watched it, I was literally terrified of the ocean, was not going to go in at all. But as an adult, I know that there's not a giant shark that big in there.
Right. 50 years later, what do you think makes Jaws a timeless classic, and what stands out to you the most when you rewatch it today?
Well, it was such a cult classic at the time, and everybody wanted to watch it, and it was like cutting edge. The film was cutting edge, and the actual shark that they had, I mean, that was cutting edge. Now you look at it and you're like, okay, that might be, now with everything that we have, it's a little cheesy, but it's still awesome. It's just a fun story, and one of those you really should watch every time before you go to the ocean.
Hello. So how has Jaws influenced the way you view the ocean or suspense films overall? How has it influenced the way you view the ocean based off when you first watched it?
Okay, I think Jaws impacted how I view the ocean by just being a little more cautious. Like when I'm swimming in deeper water, I'm always looking beneath me to see if anything's under there. But other than that, I'm not going to let it ruin the fun of being in the water.
50 years later, what do you think makes Jaws such a timeless film? And how do you view it watching it a couple years later?
I think this is a really easy one. The Jaws film has such an iconic score, the theme song, the dun 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 dun, is just timeless. It really sticks in your head, and it's probably one of the most suspenseful songs or soundtracks that ever comes to mind, really, out of any movies, any genre. Yeah.
Based on what we've heard, it's going to be an exciting summer here on the island. The impact of Jaws continues to ripple through time. More than just a movie, it has become a cultural touchstone in the way we view the ocean, storytelling, and fear itself. 50 years later, Martha's Vineyard still carries the echoes of that great white shark in its waters, its people, and its place in cinematic history.